Welcome to Paranormal Reality. Please subscribe and like.
The Blood of the Buried, The Curse of Charleston Naval Hospital. INTRO, narrator, slow, cinematic, chilling tone. There are stories that people whisper only in darkness. Stories that never make the news. Stories that live beneath the soil of America, forgotten, until something wakes them. But what happened in South Carolina, inside the Charleston Naval Hospital, is not just a ghost story. It is a tragedy buried under decades of silence. A horror that started long before the hospital was ever built. And a horror that ended with the disappearance of every soul inside. Tonight, you will hear the truth. What you are about to hear is the complete, unfiltered incident of the Charleston Naval Hospital, a medical facility constructed on a Christian burial ground, where spirits rose not only to haunt, but to kill. This is the story of broken graves, stolen peace, restless souls, and blood drained from the living. Listen closely, because once you hear this story, you may never look at a hospital the same way again. Part 1. The Forgotten Graves, 700 plus words. Long before Charleston Naval Hospital existed. Long before its walls echoed with screams. The land was peaceful. In the early 1700s, the area was nothing more than a vast field of silence, a Christian cemetery used by early settlers. Wooden crosses stood row after row, marking the graves of priests, soldiers who died in early colonial battles, mothers who never returned from childbirth, and unnamed children whose lives ended before they began. For nearly 2 centuries, it stayed untouched. Families visited. Priests blessed the land. Flowers grew between the graves. But time changed everything. By the 1900s, the cemetery was abandoned. Some crosses fell. Others were taken by storms. The names faded from stone. Generation after generation forgot the dead beneath the ground. In 1944, during wartime expansion, the U.S. Navy purchased the land to build a massive naval hospital. The government document returned from claimed the land was cleared and unused. But that was a lie, or a deliberate ignorance, because the construction team soon learned the truth. On the first digging day, a worker named Samuel struck something that wasn't stone. His shovel hit wood. When he cleared the dirt, the wood broke open, revealing a human skull, still resting on fragments of a coffin. "Sir, I think we dug up a grave." The foreman hesitated. Time was short. The Navy had strict deadlines. Money was already invested. Stopping construction meant millions lost. "Cover it. Don't report it. Keep digging." So they did. Every week, more bones surfaced. Ribs, spinal columns, fragments of decomposed coffins, torn burial garments. Workers grew uncomfortable. Some refused to continue, claiming they heard whispers under the ground. But the foreman only had one answer. "This land isn't haunted. It's forgotten. Now bury everything back and build over it." Workers did the job with trembling hands, and the dead watched in silence. When the first steel pillars were installed, the ground shook, not from machinery, but from disturbed souls whose eternal rest had been stolen. The hospital was built directly over their graves. Their bones lay under the floors, their skulls beneath the hallways, their spirits trapped inside concrete. And the dead do not forgive. Part 2. The First Deaths, 650 plus words. The Charleston Naval Hospital opened with pride. Modern equipment, skilled surgeons, long bright hallways glowing with polished white tiles. But from the very first week, something felt wrong. Nurses complained the halls were unnaturally cold. Doctors reported equipment malfunctioning without reason. Patients claimed they heard footsteps at night though no one was there. One elderly sailor whispered to a nurse, "There's someone standing by my bed every night. But when I blink, he disappears." At first, everyone blamed exhaustion, stress, or medication. But then came the first unexplained death. A young man named Thomas Gray was admitted for a minor infection, nothing life-threatening. He laughed with nurses, talked to doctors, ate dinner normally. But the next morning, he was found dead. The shocking part? He had lost nearly all his blood. But there were no wounds, no injuries, no bleeding, no marks. His heart simply stopped, as though something drained him from inside. The doctors kept the autopsy private. The Navy forbade rumors. But the staff whispered anyway. More bodies followed. A woman admitted for dehydration died the same way, bloodless, pale, eyes wide open in horror. A child recovering from fever was found lifeless, body cold and drained. A middle-aged officer collapsed in the hallway, his veins dark and empty. Within 2 months, 14 patients died inside the hospital. Each one pale, each one bloodless, each death unexplainable. Still, the hospital continued operating. Still, the Navy insisted there was no part.
Please subscribe, like, and share my videos.